to the Digital Signage Today podcast. I'm Daniel Brown, editor at Digital Signage Today, and we've got a special guest today with several hats and titles, and you've got your finger in a lot of pies there, Vince. Do you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Vince Mosca. I am the Chief Revenue Officer of a company called Highly Analytical that is out there putting some interesting analytics behind screens, connecting it with point of sales. That's probably the biggest hat I wear now. I was an ATM guy for a very long time in cannabis, and that's where a lot of our stuff was born from.
That's amazing. And well, I think we first heard of you because you've had a very novel and interesting approach. And I don't even know, you can probably do a better elevator pitch than I can, but my sense is you tie together digital signage, AI, the world of digital out-of-home advertising with room to expand in some pretty novel ways. How would you sum up your approach there?
I played with Legos growing up. That's probably the closest thing I can relate this to. Is
yes.
At one point, I'm a Lego guy, and I get my ATMs and dispensaries, and that is my secret sauce for like 5 years. Made friends with the banks and understood what they required from a regulatory standpoint for me to do ATMs for their cannabis clients. So we adhered to regulation and did very well with that. But then I looked back and thought, wow, I've got a 2 by 2 foot square times 2 sometimes, because we have 2 machines in 80 locations and dispensaries across the country. That's kind of a footprint, because I was watching TikTok videos, like on TikTok or wherever online I saw it, where it was The Founder, the movie The Founder. And he goes, you don't want a hamburger shop, you want to own the dirt. And I went, wait, I do own the dirt a little bit, but I can put a sign on top of my ATM, and now I have a billboard on top of an ATM. I just have a little billboard that just so happens to be in the place that everybody's buying the product I'm advertising for. And then we did it, and it was awesome.
And that's the power, isn't it, of digital signage? And we've tried it before with, among many guests, we've had Ori Moore from Why Charge You. They invented a wirelessly powered digital sign that can literally go anywhere in a store. And one of the studies they did, they found that over 80%, I think, of purchase decisions will happen at the point of sale. So why would you not have ads right there for your target audience?
I'm selling ads. The only place that they're legally selling cannabis. That's a pretty good card to play. Now, here's where it gets fun. I don't have to fight with anyone now. So outdoor billboard people, sometimes I get a little like scrappy because I want, but they're on the same team, because if I can loop in the outside impressions with the inside impressions, and the AI can take a look and go, hey, when you run a billboard in this fashion with this store in this market, you can tweak it by 15% sometimes. And here's when to do it. Don't buy the billboard all year, buy it at these points. So our goal is to really figure out a way to like run in and figure out what best suits the location, because you might have 50 locations like some of our clients. It's going to be different, what they need and what they want.
I love that. And that's one of the powerful things we're seeing in, I guess, programmatic digital out of home, which is exploding. Multi-billions, it's going to be $1 trillion business someday around the world, is that instead of saying, I'm going to actually have 0.01% people interested in this billboard, digital billboard, I can actually have 99% of my spend is going to people that want to see my content.
That's where I changed my relationship with Google about 10 years ago, because I realized I will be marketed to. There's no getting around it. So I went into my Google, basement and went, wait, I can tell you what I want in my ads. So I went through and did it. The last 10 years, all the ads I see are cool things that I'm interested in. Like, if you're going to get advertised to, why not make it awesome? So we took that same kind of feeling to the market for the brands and said, cool, like, why not do A/B testing at a city location versus a rural with an edible versus a flower? We can do that now. So it's our job to make the ad buying process fun, because they want to know more about their products. They need to know more because the product is constantly going out of date potentially. So we're helping all parties that have that ticking clock make sure that nothing goes bad on them, and then helping anticipate the future, hopefully.
Now, does this tie, I'm curious with the data, does this tie into sort of the supply pipeline to automate so you don't have a manager trying to tick these boxes and say, well, I'm going to guess we need 17 of the,
That's the heaven that we are hopefully providing it comes with we put the screens up, we pay for it with ad revenue. We give a predictive inventory management system, we pay for it with ad revenues. And then if there's money left over, which there always is, we pay out a profit share. So now everyone's being paid to use our AI product to make sure everyone's getting better data and making better decisions. It's like you put this, little bit of sugar on the medicine, and I'm kind of playing an airplane here, and everybody's going, so wait, you're going to pay me to be better? Yeah, why not? Like, we can now. We may not always pay out a profit share, but now we can. So we figured, why not?
Well, that's powerful to me because a lot of the small to mediums are scared of digital signage because they might see the price tag on a pro level display and they say, oh, well, I could never afford this. This sounds expensive. But the narrative you're saying is, well, no, this will make you money.
The dream that I have is uniting everyone. And here's how we can do it. I, at one point, am selling ATMs and screen ad wraps, things inside the dispensary to the brands out here that want in. And then I started talking to the dispensaries, and they were like, well, what can you do for us? Well, I had started working with one of the largest cash and transit companies that wanted to buy some dispensaries, book from me on my ATM routes. And they said to me, they go, well, you can wrap and put screens around the dispensaries if you want. And I went, oh. And once I said that, that was the one time that dispensaries stopped in their tracks and said, tell me more. And usually I have to dance and I have to be Vince and kind of do the whole thing. But when I said I could wrap a new activation for them, that they don't have to compete with, lawyers, doctors, the telecoms, we can open up this new portal for them to advertise outside of their dispensary. And that's why I'm glad I met you, because you're like, hey, there's other people doing other stuff, like flat signs that are on like just strip malls, like outdoor small digital. So that's where I think our kind of synergies really come together. Is I want to be the platform that gives everybody the great data. And I don't care if you're an outdoor billboard, outdoor digital, indoor digital. We all want to bring the data together to one centralized place for the AI to kind of give insights. That's the dream.
That's powerful. I'm curious. So, do you see this because what you're doing is echoing some trends I'm starting to see in maybe retail, fast casual, fast food QSRs? Do you see yourself expanding into these new niches and vectors?
I love that you bring that up. Another project that's kind of was born from this was our relationship with one of the large multi-state operators out here in Arizona. And there was a comedian that I run in weird groups, very large comedian, cannabis comedian that you would know. And I had an idea and I went, what if we could give him what we're giving the dispensaries? And we could help him track his travel, who he travels with, what he does when he travels, how much he makes on the shows, how much his management is taking. So now we're giving him a better data stack to make decisions from. And we're kind of in the room now. And here's how it all came together. It was the large dispensary in Arizona. I said, hey, do you know this comedian? Would you be interested in doing some stuff with him? And they went, yes. And I went, oh, okay. When they do that, I listen. So it's barbershops as well now. Barbershops want to put signage up because this comedian deals with barbershops in some of his comedy and some of his movies. And he wants to be able to come to a town, stop at a couple barbershops that run ads for his comedy shows, that just so happen to run ads for his cannabis products and other cannabis products at dispensaries that are now branding and partnering up with the barbershops. So we're creating this new screen experience in a barbershop that combines cannabis, comedy, and the barbershop and beauty salons. So now an artist can come in and get his haircut, meet a bunch of his fans that are in the VIP club at the barbershop with the cannabis or the comedy shop. So it's this weird way to like ping pong around all these cool things that go together. So I just like clicking Legos together. That's really all it is.
Legos are the best. I'm remembering now, I'm thinking back fondly to the 90s when I was a 90s kid and the, what was it? The robot series where you have the robot on Mars and you have the astronauts. Oh my gosh.
I had the classic moon base, like with the broken guy. So like in the Lego movie, I was like, my guy had the broken chin strap too.
That's amazing. I love that. We'll have a sideshow just about Lego.
Oh, yeah,
That's amazing.
Back to it.
But no, this is great. And what I try to tell people is the power of digital signage is not just, okay, it's great when a large corporation like Walmart or we had Costco on, and it's wonderful to see them making digital signage grow. But it's also these small to medium mom and pop shops, indies. And we're also seeing even in schools, health and safety, digital signage is bringing this in. So it's a technology that can benefit anyone. It communicates, it helps tie people together. But I was curious as I'm reading this literature, it's fascinating. Do you make hardware, or do you use other people's hardware and players and displays, or how do you get the content on the screen?
Thank you for asking, because a lot of times that is not something that we get to showcase or talk about when we're out there in the world. Because for us, we wanted to make sure in different technology plays that we had been in, all the members of our team, we wanted to make sure no one could turn us off. So with that in mind, we have our own physical box units that we have for us. We have our own back-end customer management program that handles the ad platform, and we have the screen management platform all in one. So that's all ours, white labels, our code, our hardware. That's our goal, because we don't want to be in the hardware business. We only really want to be in the software. So if someone out there is listening and they go, I've got a better hardware and screen solution, Vince, please, I am dreaming for that, because right now I am fumbling. I'm a shot putter at one point in my life. These are shot putter hands trying to do little things and making screens and getting behind. And can you imagine me up on a ladder this is not a good thing. So I want to leave it to the professionals. Our goal is to energize and bring everything to life and help everyone communicate better. And I'm looking for partners out there that can help me do it different, because we just brought on a group that's doing projections on the floors now, which is huge for the barbershops, because they want to be age appropriate. During the day, they can have cannabis and more PG-13R type things. Not R, but like in a movie theater rating, if you're going to see a preview.
Right,
And
right.
then at 3:00, when students might start coming in, then it shifts over to real estate agents and orthodontics and stuff, but it doesn't change the aesthetic. So we're trying to really be guests in the homes of wherever we're going in, theoretically, to say, how can we best make this work for you? Do you want to do some projections first? Do you want to do some screens? Have you had successes with anything? Do you work with an A/B team? Because for us, my dream is that an A/B team that does all this reaches out too, because I need SEAL Team 6s all around the country to go, hey, I need potentially 50 ATMs with screens dropped on in Florida. I've got the ATMs ready to drop with that team, but I need another team to come through with the screens. And that's where I think the power of community is for all of us now, is we can have this conversation. I bet you in a week, there will be tons of new opportunities in a bunch of different directions. And that's what I love about this new world in media. Like, we can have this talk, 6 people can maybe hear it, and then 15 opportunities grow from it. It's so fun.
Talk about manifesting, but the power of digital signage as an industry, I think you'll see at all the shows every year. It is a community, and people have been friends for 25 years. CEOs and VPs at various companies that might bounce around, but they all know each other. And it's one of the few industries I've been in where people really do want to help the customer, the operator, everybody thrive together. And what you're describing, that synergy, is very powerful. Now, I'm curious, though, what is the reaction of the small business owners as they start deploying the system? Are they happy with it? What is the reaction among the customers? Are they happy with it? Are they jarred by it? What do they think?
I think to better serve the conversation in a wider range, let me pull back like one layer. I'll say the different stakeholders that we play with, let me give you where they're happy. I own a dispensary group of 5 locations, and now I can see if things are going bad, if we're planning for things that might go out, and I can see this holistic global view of, are we doing what the system is saying? Or I'm a purchasing manager at an X shop, and now I have all the shock events going for every single location. I have 2 years of data going back at every single location. So now I have a buy list, I have a sell list, I have a, oh my gosh, if we can get this on sale because you never know, we're always going to need it list. And as an owner, you can tweak all that. As the purchasing person, you can tweak what you can tweak now. So our goal is to energize all the way down and bring AI all the way to the frontline person that's going, is this a sativa or an indica? And they're looking at Jack Herrera, and somebody might be new. So now they don't have to be stressed. They can focus on the human connection and go, you know what, let me check. We've got this really cool new AI that we can check with. And, oh yeah, Jack Herrera is definitely a sativa, and it's really cool for this. It's one of the early land grabs, and it's Jack Herrera is this person that da-da-da. Now that conversation might happen. It might not. But if it does, and the opportunity is there for it to happen, I want to make sure it's possible, because they might have that one interaction that creates a lifelong customer. I know my early experiences in cannabis definitely guided where I made my choices later in life. Even with quick trip gas stations. I don't know if you guys have those out there. They're well lit. The restrooms are immaculate. If there's more than 2 people in line, they ask for help from one of their people. They're constantly cleaning. Like, that's the experience. And I ask myself, why do people do that? So I talk to them. They get great benefits. They get great training, and the people want them to stay. So for me, I want to bring that to the masses in a way and go, cool, no more secrets, because we're dabbling in training now. So let's say you're a frontline person and you fill a form out wrong. Instead of getting thumped, you get entered into a pool that says, hey, you made an error here. We found it. Now, if you can answer it right, you get entered into a pool to win gas cards.
So you're gamifying it.
Just gamify. Instead of thumping someone, we totally stole it from Sweden. In Sweden, they've got this deal where you drive the speed limit and they take a picture and you get entered into a lottery. And guess what? No one speeds.
That's cool.
It's cool. Like, we just got to flip the polarity on it. And then that's, I think, what we're finding with a lot of the people that we're serving. I walk into an ATM guy and go, hey, can I put a screen on top of your ATM? Can I be your top hat? And they go, I'm scared. Are you trying to take my ATMs from me? And I go, no, I don't want your ATMs. And I'm going to pay you to let me be your top hat. I'm going to pay you like 8% of the profit share. How's that sound? And they go, okay, so that's $500 a location. I have 80 locations. Can we talk? And I go, yeah. Or it's a dispensary owner and they're like, well, I don't want to pay for this. I already have, some other service. I go, great. We only pay for ourselves with the ads that we bring in. You never have to get your checkbook out, and we'll only write you a check. But again, focusing too much on this, our goal is to serve every user that we can. Because if you pull back, then if the ATM people are really happy, they're bringing me into other locations. They're introducing me to other industries too, like touching on manufacturing and different outdoor people that want to play with us. So it's a total hippie commune, and I love it, man.
Well, you've hit on two of the main things we've been covering for 2 years now. I think, the holy grail of, oh gosh, how do I get customer loyalty? Well, it's the oldest lessons in the book, literally from the 1860s. You can buy bestsellers of the time saying, treat people like people, treat them like you would want to be treated, etc. But the other thing that you mentioned, AI, artificial intelligence technology, instead of being afraid of it, what was it you said? It lets them the worker focus on the human side. People are really afraid of automation in the restaurants right now. Well, no, it's allowing the workers to stop spending so much time bussing the tables. You can have a conversation with your guests.
I steal all my good stuff. At one point in my life, in another world, I was an at-risk credit recovery high school principal. I taught personal and career explorations for a little stint. And what I learned is you meet the user or the learner where they are. I'd have a 19-year-old come in, they'd have 8 credits, and they've got a full-time job, they have a child, they have a wife, and I go, great. We've got childcare at a couple of our hubs here. If you need the help. He goes, I don't have a computer. I go, great, we've got a computer. So for us, we didn't focus on a football program. We focused on the lower levels of Maslow: food, water, shelter, clothing. So kids that come into our program get those things. So for me, I felt that when I could connect with a kid, it was better than me teaching them y equals mx plus b at first, because you have to connect first. That's the key. So for me, if we can relieve a lot of the stress from different positions by working in SOPs or different knowledge bases that people might not have always on the ready, they always have the ability to get to it quickly, because they all have a cell phone on them. They'll always be able to jump into your chat or whatever you create for them to go to and go, wait, let me check real quick. I got a really good question with a patient right now. They're trying to lose some weight, and they're curious if Durban poison is something that'll help suppress appetite. Oh, it actually really is one. I did that at one point, so I was totally cheating. But if you're looking for certain strains, or you're looking, because people can get really tied to their strains, and I get that. So I want to be able to have that bud tender or whoever's in there not be bound up and be like, oh, not is Jack Herrera? Is that? It gives everybody what they need in their pocket. Because for me as a learner, I had a really hard time with text. Well, I devour audio now. In the last 10 years, everything you can pull through audio. I was a kid who had to go to class and look at the teacher and write down notes if I had to learn. If I had to read a book, it happened to me in college. I had to have somebody help read it out loud to me. We find a way. So my goal is we're going to find a way for maybe a brand new CTO. They come in and they go, what are these guys doing? Well, we've trained a model here with every CTO that came before you, and now you can talk to it. And you can get your stuff accustomed and figure out where all the bodies are buried, and you have this collective brain that we want to share with you. And that person goes, Whew, okay, cool. So our goal is to lower stress because people can think at a higher level, and we're just trying to figure out different places to do that where we sell or make friends.
This is huge. And there's also, and I know we're close to time, but I'm excited because this ties into another coverage area that we kind of initiated with the accessibility side in digital signage and AI. In a major airport in Texas, they didn't realize, they had all these announcements on the pretty digital signs. Well, if they have a vision impaired guest, they can't read the sign. So they added audio. And suddenly all these people were like, this is wonderful. And then they added a program where you can rent out these glasses. I forget the name of the company. You can rent out these glasses and a volunteer will help you as you're walking through the airport, and selecting your beverage at, the snack stand or what have you. So this is exciting. Vince, listen,
Wait,
I want to have you on
before
again.
we go. If you have the paid version of ChatGPT now, they have a video deal. My dad's legally blind, and I got to be a part of the Waymo program when they were doing stuff like 3-4 years ago out here in Phoenix. So a big part of that was like that visual recognition. You can walk around now, visually impaired people with ChatGPT, and it will talk to them and say, "Oh, okay, heads up, there's a step down right there. Okay, yeah, there's some water, so be careful." It will relay in real time what it's seeing. It's so cool.
Wow.
I love where we are
That's
technology wise, and
amazing.
thanks for having
That's
me
like,
on. This is really
no, yeah,
cool.
absolutely. That's like Friday and, oh gosh, and Tony Stark, right? Iron Man. No, I was just going to say, if you had one message, because I feel like you bring an outsider's perspective as a disruptor in this industry. So for the digital signage gang, if you will, what's one insight, one thing you've learned, one piece of advice you would offer as you've entered this world for retailers, you name it, digital signage operators, content makers?
I would say there is a new world out there where we're taking digital into the real world again with digital itself. So we're recreating the digital world in the physical world with digital signs. That's a world I want to play in. So we might project it. We might put it on a wall. We might put it on their phone. There might be a QR code. It might be a screen. If we can all come together in one voice, we are very strong together. And that's what we're finding at Highly Analytical.
That's awesome, man. Well, Vince, thank you for joining us here at the Digital Signage Today podcast. We'll have to have you on again to learn more about your adventures. And this is wonderful. We'll chat very soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Dan. This is really nice.